So we'll try this again. Funny enough, I did this yesterday. Apparently, somewhere along the way, I hit stop record, or I just didn't record in the beginning. But we'll do it again. So, doing uh, my top 10 90s television shows that I watched growing up that I thought were the top 10. Not like what everybody, I didn't group a lot of people together. These were just the top 10 shows that I watched growing up in the 90s. Be a lot of stuff on here that you do agree with, and there's probably a lot of stuff on here that you don't. But hey, that's just how it is when people do lists, and this is mine. Um, yeah, so for people that didn't grow up in the 90s, I mean, you had to be there at a specific time to watch the show. If you didn't, you missed it, and you probably didn't get to see it again until the summer when the reruns were on. There wasn't any other streaming crap where you could just watch it whenever you want to or binge watch, which, I mean, binge watching is what it is. It's not that bad, but um, well, no, let's get to it. For number 10, um, I have Hercules and Xena. Now, a lot of you are probably like going, really? What? But hey, yeah, they haven't really aged well in the sense of like about a year or two ago, or maybe 3 years ago. I don't know. Everything's all the same now. But like Sci-Fi did a run of Xena where they were just re-showing all the episodes, and man, they were corny as hell. And man, yeah, there might have been a lesbian love going on between her and her friend. But at the time when these first, it was like movies, like Hercules had movies where it was Hercules versus the Minotaur, Hercules versus whatever Colts or whatever, and it was always like Sunday afternoons, like just washout period in Sunday afternoons when there's nothing going on for like an hour, hour and a half, whatever it was. Fox would put these on, and they became so popular that they made a series out of it, and Sam Raimi is associated with these, which is the craziest thing. But Xena started as I think like a heel on Hercules, and they enjoyed her character and did a spinoff. So for me, number 10 was the Hercules show and the Xena show. Those classic 90s cheese. You gotta love it. Number 9 was from the TGIF time, and I'm gonna go with Step by Step. Now, for you guys that don't know, these two women here were like on the first season, maybe two, I can't remember, and then they just vanished. They just were gone, and I think were cut due to Cousin Cody. If people don't remember when Cousin Cody came on, like in the 90s, every show had to have that one family member that was just, it was the Urkel effect. It was just you brought somebody in and they just took off and became more popular than some of the other figures, so they kept them on. And these two got bounced, but Step by Step had one of the most memorable theme songs um, at the park, at the amusement park. But that was a great one. That's my number 9. Number 8 was also a TGI staple, but only had about 4 years, and that was the dinosaurs. Now, for people that don't know, this little thing right here, the little baby dinosaur, had such a grip on the world. At one point, it was Bart Simpson, Steve Urkel, and Baby Sinclair, Baby Dinosaur, were like the three pop icons. You couldn't go anywhere without doing some sort of catchphrase from Bart, Urkel, or this dinosaur. I mean, merchandise, shirts. I mean, me and my brothers had shirts, everything. This show too dealt with a lot of like we were growing up because I think I was 10 when it first came out. Like some of the stuff you kind of caught on and recognized what they were talking about, but some of the stuff was still over my head. But like they dealt with like real world issues as dressed up in animatronic rubber suited dinosaurs. But it's one of those that I found on Disney Plus again and watched the entire series. And by the way, the last episode is probably one of the darkest, saddest series finales that you'll ever see. So if you have Disney Plus, if you can find anywhere, I suggest you binge watch the dinosaurs from start to end. There are some episodes that are just it's like filler episodes, not that good, but a majority of them are pretty. Like when Rob's doing steroids, they have the drug episode, they have the bully episode, they have Tim Curry does a few voices in the series, and it's funny just to watch. Like they only had like maybe 8 or 9 dinosaurs that they could use, so like you'll notice like all the other cast are just reused dinosaurs with different voices. And George from Jason Alexander, George from Seinfeld does a lot of the voiceovers of the different characters. But yeah, check that one out. Um, so that was my number 8. Number 7 is another TGI. Believe me, TGIF was like the thing to go to when we were growing up. But it's Family Matters. And for those that don't know, this guy here, Urkel, controlled the world for about 3 or 4 years there. And he was actually supposed to be just a like 1 episode or 2 episode character, but he had such a reaction from the crowd that they had to write him in. And the show went from being about family matters to being Urkel matters. Like all the shows were just basically about Urkel, to the point that this actress here, her parents just decided because she wasn't getting really any lines or screen time anymore. Her parents just like, no, we quit, and they just left, and they never explained why why the younger daughter was just completely absent from the family. They never explained it. She was just gone, and basically Urkel took over. But that was my number 7 of the '90s shows. Number 6 was also one that was on TGIF, even though it didn't start on TGIF. Full House, of course. DJ Tanner and Stephanie Tanner were my first crushes as a kid growing up. I mean, that was my age group there, and then of course Aunt Becky became the next one. Yeah. So that was number 6. Number 5 is going to be. I'm sure some people are going to say this is too low, but it's whatever. This is where I got. I got the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Um, it was so funny to see how every show goes through like that first season to the next if it's a hit where they change a lot of the stuff about the show. And I just remember like the first season, the house being completely different from what it became. Like the second season on, like the house was more open, especially the living room and the kitchen. Whereas if like you watch that first season, it was really closed off. Um, but I can still remember the series finale of this when Will Smith was leaving to go and do movies and conquer that world, with him just standing there in the empty living room. And then, of course, Carlton running down because he had gone up and gone to the bathroom and didn't want to be left behind. Good series finale, good series. But that's my number 5. Can still sing that whole theme song. Number 4, I don't know if too many people know this one. So in like the mid and late '90s, you had this like drama cop kind of series stuff going on, and it had been around for a while, but Law and Order really picked it up, and then NBC had this series called Homicide: Life on the Street, and this took place in Baltimore. And it was like some people say it was like a prequel to The Wire because it's the same, I think, writers that did Homicide: Life on the Street also then transferred over and did The Wire on HBO. Might have even been the same creator. But this was more of a grittier, darker series. It was like darker than Law and Order, and they'd always have like the crossover episode that you see happen a lot now. But it was so fun to watch these casts from Law and Order and Homicide because Homicide was so much more rugged and so much more gritty, and you'd have that crossover episode. And I enjoyed their stories more than some of the Law and Order um, stories, especially later in Law and Order in the '90s. Like it became more soap opera, and this one stuck more to that gritty stuff. So if you're a fan of The Wire, you should check Homicide: Life on the Streets out because it was really good for the time. So that was number 4. Number 3, I also have another one that the series theme song would just scare the crap out of kids. The X Files. I mean, you can say what you will, good episodes, bad episodes, weird episodes, but towards the end of that series, yeah, it got like it lost me when it started like focusing more on the government conspiracies, like the weird government conspiracies, and away from the aliens and stuff. Um, but yeah, so X Files is my number 3. That was a Sunday staple as well. For number 2, I have The Simpsons, and I think they just got signed for another 5 years by Disney. So they're going to go into like season 40 or wherever they're going. Probably 30 seasons too long, but the classic episodes from the first 10 seasons, I think, are the best that you'll ever get. But that's my number two of the 90s. Again, 8 o'clock Sunday night. Every kid was at the TV watching that. And number one, and I'm sure some people will agree and not agree, but I have Seinfeld. And I can still watch this show these days and not be bored by it and even know what's coming up on that series, or just by the name of the episode know exactly what's going to happen and still enjoy it because it's funny as hell. Everybody has their famous quote or favorite episode. Mine, of course, was the marine biologist with the ending with George pulling out the golf ball and Kramer asking if it was a Titleist. But everybody has their own. You have the bet. These pretzels are making me thirsty. Everybody has their own little episode. But that's my number one. So again, number 10 was Hercules and Xena. Number 9 was Step by Step. 8 was Dinosaurs. 7 was Family Matters. 6 was Full House. 5, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. 4, Homicide, Life on the Street. 3, X-Files. 2, Simpsons. And Seinfeld, number 1. Now, honorable mentions, I know a lot of people are going to give me hell about this, but Friends, I didn't have it on my list because I think I watched the first 2 seasons of it. It started when I was in 7th grade, so like 7th grade and 9th grade. I watched the first 2 seasons. I started playing football, and our games were Thursday nights, and I kind of got out of watching because I'd miss it. Our games were like at 7 o'clock. We'd be done at the latest 8:30, depending, the game or whatever. So I was at home like 9, just in time for um, Seinfeld to be on. So I missed a lot of that series, so I just kind of stopped watching it. And then when wrestling became a big thing, and I know a lot of people were saying we should have wrestling on there, Nitro and Raw, but that was so late in the 90s. Like I didn't watch it until about 97, but um, you had wrestling on Thursday nights at 8 o'clock, and I was more watching that than Friends. So I mean, I have rewatched episodes like of Friends, and I gotta tell you, man, Friends was such a ripoff of other shows, and like there were many episodes where they just blatantly plagiarized like Seinfeld or Mad About You or just all these different series where you can sit there and go, wow, they are just plagiarizing other episodes and just changing the names. I thought some of the relationship aspects on there were toxic as all freaking get up. I mean, but people love that series. It is what it is, but that's one honorable mention. Didn't make my list. Mr. Bean. Hell, I'm Mr. Bean. I'm Bean. Those the only reason I didn't have it on there because I didn't realize like when we were growing up. I mean, you thought it had like 5 years worth of episodes. It was only 2 years. Like I think it's like maybe 20 episodes or so. But if you want to watch a physical actor, comedic actor with that just doesn't talk, he's like a mime basically. And it goes back to like the silent films of the 20s and 30s. He's brilliant, and you should watch Mr. Bean. Those episodes are great. Um, ER, the one that kind of really kicked off George Clooney's career. I think he was only on there for like 3 or 4 years, and then he bounced. Anthony Edwards, by the way, was like only 28 in this picture. But ER, honorable mention. SNL, the 90s. I mean, Saturday nights. This is where kids in the 90s were at 11:30. They were watching Saturday Night Live. Now I got to go to the paper because I'm sure, I mean, I got people screaming about Dawson's Creek, Party of Five, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. How did you not have those on there? Oh, I can't believe you didn't have those on there. Well, I didn't watch them. I could give two left testicles about them. Honestly, I just didn't care, so suck it. Those series did nothing for me. Red Green Show on PBS. There's another comedic skit show. If you haven't seen those, you should watch it. Martin. I know a lot of people are screaming I should have Martin on there, but again, That was a show I just did not watch. Just it didn't do anything for me. I know there was a lot. You were either a Fresh Prince or you're a Martin person. I was a Fresh Prince person. That's just where I was. Oz on HBO. Holy crap! You want to talk about a crazy series? Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, Walker, Texas Ranger, Wings, Pete and Pete. For the people that didn't know on Nickelodeon, I didn't really put that on there because I'm gonna do like a Nickelodeon show series top 10. That's why there weren't any Nickelodeon shows on here because I'm going to do like a Nickelodeon top 10 and I didn't want it to cross over. Sequest, I don't know if people remember that one, but like for the first couple of seasons it was good and then they went all like X-Files and aliens took them away and they came back and like the CGI on there at the time we thought was so great, but you watch it now and Jesus, it's horrible. Sliders was a series on Fox. I don't know if too many people remember that, but it's basically like a multiverse, and they go from universe to universe, almost like Quantum Leap. Um, Babylon 5 was another one that I found that I thought was particularly good. But so yeah, those are my top 10, and those were my honorable mentions and ones that I just didn't watch or care for because maybe because they sucked. Um, but nah, if you agree, let me know. If you didn't, give me your top 10. Um, But until the next time, hey man, find that good earth and dig it. And on the weekends, get outside and enjoy the frickin' weather, especially down south. Jesus, it's been beautiful down here. All right, y'all. Have a good one.